Welcome to the Women's Hoop Show. Whew, you guys. The Aces managed to take a 3-game lead thanks to A'ja Wilson, the 4-time MVP. Last second winning shot. It was crazy. We have a special guest. ESPN basketball analyst Monica McNutt joins me today to break down the pivotal Game 3 and whether the Mercury stand any chance of getting one win, let alone coming back and winning the championship. Plus, you guessed it, new developments on the Napheesa Collier versus WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert saga. The NBA commissioner has made some comments. Former players are speaking out. It's getting messier. We'll talk about it for a sec. So much to talk about. Let's get into it. Monica.
Girl.
You look stressed. Were you stressed watching this game? Because it was crazy.
Girl. So I had some stuff last night. I got home 9 minutes to go in the fourth. And I was like, But what I remember distinctly hearing is the energy that Ryan was calling the game with. And I was like, why is Ryan so hyped? Like, it's a 13, whatever it was. Like, it was still like, not great at that point. Then I was like, oh, okay, let me buckle up and sit here and lock in. I honestly thought the Mercury were going to win that game last night. Like, I really thought they were going to rally behind Satu. Hope that that's nothing serious and that she's available for Game 4. I thought Cobb was cooking. I thought Phoenix as a fan base, I think they sort of get lost as we enjoy Ellie and company and the Aces and the Valkyries now. But Mercury is one of those rabid fan bases as well. Like, I thought the cards were going to align to give us 2-1 and we were going to be, let's go. Could end up going 6, like maybe. And then A'ja Wilson happened.
I think you were in the camp with a lot of Mercury fans with the hope that it would make it interesting, because this is a different conversation if it's 2-1 versus 3-0. And I said this on the last show, but to go up 3-0, and A'ja said something super interesting in the post game. She was like, we've never won a Game 3 with Becky as our coach. Like, this game was very pivotal for us, not just because we wanted to go up 3-0, but because this has been a tough spot for us. But the Aces just said, we're giving the ball to our MVP, and then we'll get out the way and we'll just trust whatever happens. And it was perfect.
Girl. Like, I was like, oh, great move. First bounce, about to bounce off. No, it's not bouncing off. It's just bouncing in. Drea said it on SportsCenter because I was just watching debriefing, and she was like, same thing. I'm glad that Becky didn't overcomplicate it. I'm glad that the Aces didn't overcomplicate it. Like, between Dawana and Alyssa, if you could combine them, they probably are a defender that gives A'ja Wilson the blues combined. If you can keep that length and that strength. But as separate entities, they'll do their best. But I think where A'ja is in her career, there's so much trust in all the work that she's done to get here. And I'll even go back, Jordan, to, I believe this was the pressers prior to the finals starting. She called out the season and the journey that they've had and how there's a level of grit and a level of test there that because they were so deep in the what in the world is going on with the Aces character, I personally was like, yeah, no, they're fatigued. They're always in the finals. Like, this year, it's fine. Like, I'm not even mad at them. They'll finish whatever this year. It'll stink.
Yeah.
But Asia's point was because they've gone through all of that in the course of a 4-quarter long game, they're not frazzled because they've been through so much, and they've literally this season had to respond to everything, and they've done it in a variety of ways just in this series alone. And so I think you saw last night, if sports for us are about moments, that'll be a moment that will always be associated with A'ja Wilson.
And it was 2.2 on the clock. If you've seen the photo, put it in a museum, hang it up. It was perfection. I mean, the Nike commercial, just the execs are like, well, we just have our next commercial. It wrote itself. It was poetic. Okay, we went straight to the end, but let's start at the beginning of the game, because this was very much a tale of two halves, and we saw the Mercury kind of making a comeback. You mentioned the defensive matchup on A'ja Wilson, and it is an impossible task that we are realizing. but I was very happy with the switch that Nate Tibbetts did. Alyssa Thomas has been guarding A'ja Wilson game 1, game 2. He started Natasha Mack on her and then brought in DeWanna Bonner for that length. A'ja still had 34 points and 17 in the first half, but it was a good switch. And then on the other side, the Aces came out in a box and one against Ka for those early possessions. And I think it threw the Mercury off. They were expecting a man, they were expecting a zone, and then they threw him something different in game 3. So what did you like about the adjustments that both teams kind of made coming into this?
Well, we have realized now, and rightfully so, you need a particularly elite defender, both in their defensive mentality, but also in their physical build, to slow A'ja, and some prayer that she's just having an off night, right? But I do appreciate taking some of the pressure off of Alyssa Thomas. We were at game 1 on site, and I remember post-game not arguing, you know how it is, discussing with our countdown crew, Drea, Janae, L, because Drea's thing was Alyssa's having to exert so much energy defending A'ja that by the end of the game, when she missed that layup, like, she can hold space for that. I'm like, no, it's a game 1 that you have to have, and you're Alyssa Thomas. You got to truck through, who was it? Dana, maybe? I don't even remember. You got to make that layup. Like, and I don't care about your free throw percentage. In that moment, you got to have it. So I do think that the switch frees her up a little bit, obviously, to preserve some energy and be effective offensively. It's just such a tough guard. And I, listen to the call, you can hear Rebecca call out the sort of difficulty, this might have been in game 2, of defending her one-on-one because she's such a great and willing passer versus sending a double team, or vice versa. The double team creates to the pass, and then one-on-one is just a one-on-one nightmare. But I do appreciate the attempt. Like, you got to try. Natasha Mack is a great defender in the league. You know what I'm saying? And DeWanna Bonner is a competitor and has won. And so I thought they did a solid job, particularly through that first half. The boxing one on Ka I thought was interesting. My first thought would not have been Ka, I think.
Yeah.
That's where I was like, oh, this is what we're doing? Okay. But in hindsight, like, AT sets up, it will be really tough to box and one her because she operates right in the middle of the box, right?
Right.
Satu is moving around, but she's not as much of a potential creator for others, right? Like, once she gets the ball, you know what she's trying to do. So that was a learning moment for me in terms of watching that unfold. But again, like, we looked at all the numbers throughout the course of the season. As the Aces have won, their defense has also been top 5, if not top 3 in the league. And that obviously is who they have come back to being since August.
Yeah, I think my first thought was the boxing one on Ka, because she has been killing them from the jump. Like, Ka has been having great first halves and from the start of the game. So I was like, okay, this is great to slow down the momentum from the get-go. But it was actually Satu who said, okay, you gonna guard Ka? I'm gonna go off in this first quarter. And I want to give kudos, because I was really harsh on Satu in game 2 with her shot selection. I felt like she was getting layups in the first quarter and in the first half and attacking. And I was like, yes, this is what you need. It was contested threes, contested step back jumpers that were making her life way harder than it needed to be. And so I loved that she was able to make that adjustment. But then all that goes away because Jewel Loyd comes in and scores 4 3-pointers in the first quarter and set a WNBA record. What have you loved about Jewel in these finals coming off the bench?
I just keep thinking back to whose pod was Jewel on? I don't know. She was on one of the NBA players' pods, I think. And I just keep thinking back to her clip talking about when she got the call that she was going to be traded to Vegas. And, like, she was like, what? Of course. Like, you know what I mean? Her experience in Seattle, be what it may, seasons in our lives are real. Things come to an end. That's fine. But I think I just, in my head, keep seeing how she was like, duh, sign me up. Like, what? And it obviously is coming to fruition. And I think, Jordan, we have the privilege of covering athletes, and yes, the numbers and the stats and where you stand in history, it all matters. But I also think the journey that we get to go on with these players at different points in their lives, whether they're coming back from motherhood, shout out to you, or they're coming back from an injury, or they're just in a different chapter of their career, whatever it may be. But like Jewel's intention of giving back to the game, right? And her willingness to go to the bench and to take a lesser role. I'm sure she's heard all the noise over the years that she can shoot you in a game, shoot you out the game. Like she's a ball dominant guard. Like it's not going to work in Vegas because she can't play off ball. But the ability to evolve as people and as athletes, like the greats manage to find what the game needs where they are. And I think Jewel this year has been an utter testament to that.
I mean, the corner three is down. She
Girl.
is like, I am going to knock down this corner three and get offensive rebounds. And it has been so cool to see her confidence. You can see it growing and building, and even the confidence that her teammates have in her. Speaking of, Aces knocked down, what was it, 9 threes in that first half, which also set a record.
The other thing for Jewel, I think, I would argue, and I don't even think it's really an argument, the way she's moving off the ball, I don't know that she's ever gotten shots well, maybe early in her career when she was still sort of in the formative years of what Seattle was doing behind Stewie and Sue and them. But at that point, she wasn't garnering your better defenders, right? But I don't know that she's ever gotten shots as easily. And the way she's moving without the basketball, just the gravity that she has there, that to me stood out, even in game one when it wasn't necessarily her game. It was Jewel and Dana off the bench that cooked for 40 something. Yeah, I lied. In game one, it was like, oh, look at my girl moving so freely.
Yes. I hope someone talked to her and said, Jewel, you just need to knock down the open shot. Asia is garnering so much attention. Jackie Young is the second option. Chelsea Gray will find you. Hit the open shot. And she said, okay, I'm going to get in the gym. I'm going to get these reps. And that's what it looks like. And I'm so happy because that's what they needed earlier in the season. There was no help for Asia and Jackie outside of that. Now, just having that option, it makes the Mercury think twice. And so going into that second half, I think the Aces still had a very commanding lead in that third quarter. They go up 17 before the fourth quarter. Satu goes down early in the fourth, and it was very scary. Again, sending good vibes for her. I don't know what it is. I don't want to speculate, but she hit Kirsten Bell's knee on her way down with her head. So that looked very scary. But the Mercury could have folded. They could have packed it up right then. And they could have said, dang, we don't have our unicorn. Satu had over 20 points at that point. But then Ka just came alive. And this was the Mercury team that we had seen throughout the playoffs. This comeback 11-0 run. And we were right there. You said it. This felt like their game to go and take away. And I was standing up at this point at my TV.
Please don't be one of them women that goes into, no, it's way too early for you to go into
I know. I said that. Monica, I was like, thank God I am not near my due date, or I for sure would have went into labor over this game. I was stressed. I was on my exercise ball. I had to bounce it out because this was stressful.
That's funny. That is funny.
But what were you thinking when they were coming back and the Mercury could have come back and stole this game?
Honestly, I was like, okay, this is fitting. Like, game one was such a terrific game. All right, so you crash out a little bit in game two, but you're back at home. Like, I was like, this is fitting. Oh, girl. And honestly, they had a very slim chance, but they had a chance down at the end. I was nervous about their opportunity in terms of execution because I thought in game one they should have got a much better attempt to finish.
For sure.
But I thought it was fitting. I mean, Kai's playing terrific defense, comes up with steals. AT's in the passing lane. Like, Phoenix is a good team. They are a good team. And so I was encouraged by that. And, obviously us a little bit skewed to the media side. I'm like, okay, this is great. Like, this is what we need. Like, it's going to be 2-1. Like, this is a great comeback. Everybody's going to be talking about this tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And then, then basketball happened.
I mean, I want to go into the Asia shot more, but with 0.3 on the clock, they got a good look. A turnaround jumper kind of at the free throw line with DeWanna Bonner. I felt like I was holding my breath because that looked great. I think that was a great play call by Nate. What did you think about that play?
That one, she got a good look. And I thought after we saw one bounce, we might get a second home bounce, and we didn't. Again, 0.3 is so tight.
Yeah.
From at home, having watched DB over the course of her career, and I guess, to be honest, like, you do shoot that shot sort of hopefully as opposed to confidently. Like, there's like a balance. That was my only note, but like, that's where you are at that point in the game. Like, how the odds are against you. So that is showed tremendous growth compared to the way they finished game one. I will give them that for sure.
Yeah, in game one, they needed a timeout. The play was clearly broken. When Ka was reset at the top, I was like, this is your chance. Like, she's kind of waiting for you to call a timeout. They needed a reset. They didn't do it. Satu shoots a contested 3 on the right wing. But I think, in contrary to that, Becky did the right thing and called the timeout in this game to reset. She saw Jackie was driving. It was going to be something contested, was able to reset her team. And I think that was a great coaching decision. Is Becky out coaching Nate in this series? I mean, they're up 3-0, but in logistics.
I think as a collective, you're seeing the experience of the Aces. And I was texting with some friends. This is like, I'm just going to say this as gently but honestly as possible. Like, as good as AT is, I personally have trust issues when we get to this time of year. And I think the track record bears that out, right? And I'm sure I take nothing away from her greatness. But again, like we just talked about some of the other aspects of players' lives that they share with us. And I am pleased. What I am not saying is whether or not AT is or isn't a good teammate. That's not what I'm saying. But I do think that when I look at the collective of the Aces, there is an equity there, personally and professionally, that the Phoenix only returned 2 players.
Right.
Like, my personal basketball philosophy, very rarely do I break this, is it doesn't happen in year one when your roster looks completely different because chemistry is real, right? And I think many people were, injuries outstanding, was surprised that Phoenix got past Minnesota for the same logic, right? Now, that proved to be a little bit of a better matchup for them. I still would love to sit down with Elena Smith one day and be like, girl, what was happening? But anyway, they've run into a well-oiled machine at this time of year. But outside of the game one finish, I don't feel like Nate I will not go look at this series and say Nate was just completely outcoached. Like, okay, it is emerging that the Aces are the better team, and that's okay. Like, they got the 4-time MVP. Like,
there's just really nothing you could do with A'ja Wilson. And I mean, I wouldn't want that job to go back to my office and be like, what do we do? How do we stop 34 points? How do we stop this incredible generational talent that is A'ja Wilson? And I guess I'll go to you. Going into game 4, is there anything you could do? Is it, we have nothing to lose, so we are going to let it all out there? We have home court advantage. Can we steal one? What are the adjustments, if any, that Phoenix could do to stay in this series?
I mean,
we all want 6 games. We all want 6 or 7 games. Yeah. Come on, Mercury.
You 100%. You have to believe that you can steal one. So yeah, you go into it thinking you can get one. But I will say, one of the things that have made Phoenix, and I'm literally looking at the box score because I'm like, what they've been shooting. One of the things that has made Phoenix who they were all season was their ability to shoot the 3, right? Like, 33% from three in that game. And mind you, they hit some big ones late, but they've got to, and I get it. It's late in the season. You're tired. It's legs. There's short turnarounds on these games. But I think if they can find their way from behind the 3-point line, that would be beneficial for sure. And then I do think they're going to have to figure out how to create a little more distance. Actually, they were -3 overall in rebounding in game 3. But if they can get back to some of the rebounding, the second chance opportunities, which were fantastic for them for so long, I think they've got a shot. But yeah, listen, Asia calling out that they have never won a game 3 in the 5-game series. Well, if you do the math, like game 4 offers that in a 7-game series. You know what I mean? Like,
I love it.
Whatever you got to tell yourself, Phoenix.
Yeah.
You're not trying to get swept.
Okay, you mentioned the 3-point shooting, and I wrote this down. I was taking notes on my notes app during watching this game, and I wrote down, is Sammy Whitcomb a liability if she is not hitting the 3? Like, that is what makes her so great. And then on the defensive end, she's getting cooked a little bit. Just a little bit. They are exposing that matchup, and then she's going over. And I'm like, you gotta be able to bring something. And I think you are the thing that they need coming off of the bench. And I just thought some of those shots were gonna fall at home. And so I was just curious of where her rotation fits in this series if you're not able to knock down that shot. Because I feel like that is what you're there for. That's what you're needed for.
Yeah. I think that's a great call out. My only pushback, and this might be where we see Nate potentially getting his coaching bag, my only real pushback on that is, who are you going to? Right? Like, the only other person that's part of the rotation that has not seen maybe the minutes they've seen from the regular season is Catherine Westbrook. Which I don't know. I mean, she's going to give you a body. She's going to give you more resistance. But I think that probably is a matchup that gets targeted as well.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I think liabilities are, you got a better option.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's fair.
I don't know. And here's the other thing, though, too. As a shooter, once upon a time, shooters shoot to get hot, baby, and shooters shoot to stay hot. So she literally will go into game 4 letting it fly, and her teammates will tell her to let it fly. Like, let's not forget the Minnesota series. Literally missed, rebound, swing, hit. Like, you got to let that thing fly. As important as the 3-point shooting has been to this team, and if that is going to be one of the keys to them staying alive in these finals, you cannot take her off the floor.
Okay. Good luck, Phoenix, because we want this. We want more games. I'm not ready for the season to be over. The season could be over. We're recording this on Thursday. It could be over tomorrow. I don't know if I'm ready emotionally. I want this to extend. But the Aces look pretty dominant right now. Pretty good.
I don't think you play with fate. I don't like when you play with fate. But for whatever it's worth, this is obviously the one, not just to keep Phoenix alive. But do the Aces want to win at home? Like, they didn't win at home last time. Like,
I think they said, I thought I heard Ryan say that they have won only their championships on the road. Only I think so.
I was at Connecticut. Wait, I can only think of 2. There's one I'm missing. I was at Connecticut when they won, and we were in Brooklyn when they won. I can't remember the opponent of the other one. I'm blanking.
I think they've only been on the road. So will they keep it going, or will they say, nah, we want to be at home this time? Nah.
the
Buffalo Wild Wings.
Right. The focus that they're playing with, they might be trying to keep the tradition alive. I'm sure they are, because they don't seem like they would want to. I just remember, too, Jordan, last year when the Liberty won, I had a Nike event that Sabrina was at. 2 days later, maybe. And I remember Sabrina being like, part of the reason that game was so ugly is how tired everybody was. So it's almost like, sure, we want to see 5 games, but also, like, if y'all not gonna make a comeback, I mean.
we might leave the door open, but if y'all ain't gonna come back, we want to get some rest. I feel that.
Some of us have the NBA season right around the corner.
I have been so selfishly wanting 6 or 7 games. And all of my media friends who have been stuck in the desert for the past week, going back and forth between Phoenix and Vegas, are like, we want this series to be over as soon as possible.
I need some
sorry.
water.
So sorry. Yeah. All right, Aces. Get it done. Get it done. I also wanted to chat about what's going on in the world of labor negotiations, the other matchup in the finals, which is Napheesa Collier versus Cathy Engelbert. This has been a developing story, and I wanted to get your opinion because I just saw a clip from Candace Parker, and she talked about, she was kind of speaking more to the relationship aspect that maybe Cathy lacks, because that's what Fee called out in her initial statement, and that's what a lot of players have been coming forth saying. And so Candace said, quote, I signed a deal with Amazon. I got a text from Adam Silver saying congratulations. I had my 3rd child. I got a text from Adam Silver about my 3rd child. I get a Christmas gift from Adam Silver every year. I retired and Adam Silver sent me a text message. I have not heard from Cathy. She said Cathy was not at either of her jersey retirements. She said she just saw her in Phoenix and Cathy said congratulations. But there's this relationship element that feels like it's lacking in the commissioner role. How do you see that playing out in not only just the future of this role of commissioner of the WNBA, but how these labor, the CBA negotiations are involved as well?
So, okay, this is not in defense of Cathy, but I will offer this to consideration. Adam Silver was in David Stern's office. He was in the peer view in the world of the NBA. He watched a commissioner who folks have different opinions on, but was well respected and had direct communication, coaches, players, media members, otherwise. I've heard many a David Stern story, right?
Right.
Again, W being 50 years younger, if we go back to Val Ackerman, my girl, like in the NBA, like in basketball, watching, like under the leadership and tutelage of David Stern, and then this project called the WNBA, and like also a women's athlete herself, right? There is a steeping of some of those leaders that we have admired in basketball or Blackness in the case of Lisa. Like, and so I think perhaps, and I was never on Cathy's team at Loyd. I don't know people on her team, so I can't say. But I do think perhaps some of that gap is the reason why we have diplomacy projects and sports days at corporate 500 companies, because of the things that you learn inherently in sport. So when you come to sport and don't have that, when the rubber hits the road, oh wait, you actually have never been a teammate in this way. So just something to consider. Doesn't make it right? No, because I do think the other part of being a leader is you figure out how to best serve the folks that you are leading. It is clear that her service has been largely focused on the ownership and expansion as opposed to truly getting to know the players. I don't know if you got to truly get to know, but at least having a respect for what the players past and present have accomplished, and frankly, what the future could potentially look like. So that's just one thing that I consider in this conversation as a nerd about leadership things. So obviously it was on First Take, essays calling for her resignation. And some other things happened on this show, but whatever.
Just some other things happened. First of all, I just admire you. The facial expressions as you just have to sit there as people are saying crazy stuff.
Girl,
Just
I promise if I had been in studio, I would have stopped our good friend Mad Dog. But to his credit, that's his shtick, right? And
yeah.
like, if we were in person, I think he would have stopped. He would have listened. He may have still disagreed, but at least we're getting the opportunity to correct your thought process. My question, Jordan, is how appealing is the commissioner of the WNBA as a job?
That's a great question.
To me, and I'm not qualified, but sign me up. Let's go. It's time to do it, right? But I don't. How do we move forward? Is like where I'm at, because nobody wants a lockout. It seems like y'all are far enough on the opposite sides of this thing that's where it's headed, but we don't want that. Labor negotiations are commonplace in this country, let alone for the NBA. Like, we've seen lockouts. So part of me is like, all right, roll up your elbows. It's going to get a little funky, but that's what happens in sport, right? I just, what Fee did obviously is historic. It was a press conference unto itself. And then Cathy's response has not necessarily given me confidence that she didn't say anything that Fee suggested. And I think that probably is sort of at the crux of the issue. Even if they can get past this particular CBA, if you don't have the respect of your constituents, if you will, your days are numbered. Like, you are on the clock.
I love that point of how desirable this job title is, because I think there is a lot of people calling for a resignation, calling for her to get fired, whatever it may be. But then the next question is, okay, who gets that job? Who would you want to be in that position? And again, first time the WNBA has had this title as commissioner. It's been president, it has been leadership, people in the forefront before. But as commissioner, you get all of the heat. You get all the praise, but you get all the heat, and that is your job. You are the face of the league. So when it goes great, when it goes bad, that's what you're doing. Do you subscribe to the idea that it should be a former player? Because that would at least take the relationship part. They would just understand what the players are going through. But then it's like you said, it's the business side. It's also the other side of the puzzle. It has to be that holistic role.
Girl, I have said on record, Nneka Ogwumike could be the president as far as I'm concerned, like, of the United States. So
of America.
Like, sign me up for anything that she's leading.
Seriously.
What I will say, I'm reading 107 Days, Kamala Harris, and the other night I was reading her as she was going through the vetting process for her vice president. And she talked about, the vice president's role is whatever the president is comfortable with. Somebody from some former administration said it could be a great job or it could be not worth a bucket of urine, which I cracked up laughing at. Anyway, I'm distracted. What I could see is a commissioner, deputy commissioner relationship.
Ooh, yeah. Okay.
That is, if the commissioner has the wherewithal to say, yes, I may swing 60% toward the ownership group, but let me work closely with my deputy commissioner who may swing 60% toward the players. And as a team, we can hopefully land on what is best for both sides. I would sign up for that. And then again, should there be fracas? Okay, commissioner's about to roll out. Well, this deputy commissioner has at least been steeped in, you know what I mean? Potentially to take that position or however that might work. I think eventually a former player could do it. As I'm having different conversations with a number of these women in the league and not currently in the league, but Deja Kelly was on this podcast or on this panel with me at CultureCon this week, and she talked about, for her generation, it's all the NIL stuff and people trying to box her in that she can't have a podcast, can't be a business entrepreneur because she's not focused on basketball. And she's like, no, actually, I'm focused on all these things. So in that same breath, I would not say that a former player could not do it because they don't have the business background. Nah, they can be expanding. And a lot of times our WNBA players do have experiences, networks, like studying the craft of leadership. So yeah, I would sign up for a former player for sure.
Okay, I love a deputy commissioner idea. That's what I'm kind of like all about the solutions right now, because I don't know if we can go back and comb through the transcript of Cathy's press conference anymore. Like, she said what she said and she didn't say what she didn't say, and I'm kind of there, but how do we move forward? Because the reality is, like I've been saying, like a broken record, this CBA is so important, not just in women's basketball, but in all of women's sports. And so many other things need to happen after this CBA gets signed. So that is, solutions need to happen. We can't keep talking about Fee versus Cathy. There is a CBA that needs to be signed, and there's bigger fish to fry. So yeah, also, you know, Kamala Harris, if you want to be like an advisor, like this, your conversation with Fee was incredible, and I'm just saying, you have that connection. Come on over to the W, save us.
There you go.
There you go. Monica, you are the best. Thank you for taking time out of your very booked and busy schedule to chat with me. You're the best, and I'll see you again soon.
It was great. Thanks for having me. I saw the text and was like, I'm busy. But oh, wait, Jordan texted me. I need to respond because, yes, I want to do that. I literally was like, yes. And then like did something else. And then you hit me again. And I was like, oh, yes. I did want to say yes. Let's make this happen.
I'm like, as I'm watching you on TV, I'm like, she's not texting me back. And that's okay, because she's literally on live television right now. She's on my TV. So you have all the grace in the world. Don't worry about it.
I appreciate it. No, it's good to chat with you. I'm hoping, I don't know where I am. I'm a little bit, I don't know. Do I want Phoenix to get one, or do we just?
How are you feeling? Final thoughts. Are you ready for the season to be over? If it's over, if the Aces are the WNBA champions and the season,
I think we had a lot of fun this season. First 40-game season.
Yeah.
I thought the parity was crazy. Even though Minnesota obviously was the top of the class, like for the story the Aces had, the story the Fever had, like if the season ended, I would be satisfied. I think we've had a great season. We've had a really fun season in terms of moments that captivated the country, like the stud butts being on Vogue.
Oh my gosh.
Also good basketball. Yeah, like we had fun.
We did have fun.
It was a good year.
It was a good year. Okay. I feel better. I'm convinced if the season doesn't. Mercury, yes, I do want you to get one just for pride. I want you to get one. But also, I would be okay because the storylines were incredible this season. But also the basketball. The basketball was good. Some great games. Great performances. So, all right. Monica convinced me. We can end it.
Thanks for having me, girl.
Thanks for coming on. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to follow on your favorite podcast app so you never miss an update. Your support means the world. And if you're feeling generous, leaving a quick rating or review helps more Hoops fans discover the show. And you can now see us on our brand new YouTube channel. Make sure to like and subscribe there. Shoot us an email at women'shoops@odyssey.com to tell us what's on your mind. We want to hear your hottest takes, your burning questions, and all your feelings about all things women's hoops. We just might feature your note on the show. That's women'shoops@odyssey.com. The Women's Hoop Show is an Odyssey original podcast hosted by me, Jordan Robinson. Our producer is Phil Switek. Our video team is led by Kurt Courtney and includes Tim Meikle, Evan Cox, Allison Jeffrey, and Lauren Vieira. Our executive producers are Greg Holtzman, Asha Saluja, Danny Freisinger, Maddie Sprunkheiser, and Leah Reese-Dennis. And special thanks to Moira Curran and Josephina Francis.